Good afternoon and welcome to D.I.V.E, Diversity Including Various Ethnicities. I am Iris Owens, your host, and on the line with me are my two wonderful co-hosts and our guest speaker today. So ladies, I'm gonna let you introduce yourselves and then we're gonna jump right in.
Hey everybody, it's me, it's Jessica Harrison here from the Cascade office of Berkshire Hathaway. I am happy to be here with you all today.
Thank you.
Hey, it's me, Stephanie. Hey. Out of the Swanee location, Berkshire Hathaway.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephanie. And our wonderful host today. Good afternoon, Keisha. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. My name is Keisha Harris and I'm with Prosperity Home Mortgage and I am out of the Community Lending Division. And I'm excited to be here and share as much information as I can. So thanks for having me, ladies. Looking forward to it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And we're going to pick your brain so that you can share and educate us all as we go through this session today.
All right.
So we're going to go ahead and jump in. And Keisha, is there anything you'd like to share about yourself with regards to how long you've been in the business?
Sure, absolutely. So I've been in this business a long time. I've started in about 1998.
Okay.
So I've seen a lot of changes with the industry. I've seen it go through some highs, lows. I've even seen these interest rates before. So I've seen a lot going on. So we can work around this.
Yes.
Right now, I'm with Prosperity Home Mortgage. I've been here for about 4 years. I absolutely love it. I am a part of the Community Lending Division, where our focus is ensuring that minorities have equal access and the underserved have equal access to home loans. We want to make sure that they're not left behind. So Prosperity and the president and CEO, Tim Wilson, and my manager, April Alexander, developed this unit to make sure that we didn't leave anybody behind. So when I started almost 4 years ago, I was the second person hired for the team. Now we have about 27 around the country. So we've grown quite a bit. And I happen to be President's Club recipient for both years since we started this initiative.
Congratulations.
So we've done a lot of great work. And so I'm happy to share. So you could be a part of the story as well. I'm excited about that.
We love it. We love it. So listen, last week we had Lanny. Now we have this wonderful heavy hitter again. So let's dive in, ladies. We're ready to go. So we'll start with our first question. So Keisha, what are the different types of home buyer programs? Like what's available out there to buyers? And are they only for first-time home buyers or if someone's refinancing?
Okay, so there are tons of opportunities. It's usually largely based on where you're going to live. So for example, the city of Atlanta has some fantastic programs. Right now, there's a special initiative with the city of Atlanta that I can layer. Okay, ladies, are you ready?
We're ready.
Layer money right now.
Getting ready.
$50,000.
Did you say $50,000?
I said $50,000.
$50,000.
Yes, I knew that was going to get you.
Yes, I'm listening.
Talk to me.
Wait, what?
I just received 4 contracts between Friday and Monday today, and they're all going to be able to qualify for $50,000 in incentives from I layer with Invest Atlanta and Atlanta Housing Authority. Invest Atlanta has a special initiative called 30 Plus for Homeownership Month for June, that you can get $30,000. And then if you qualify for Atlanta Housing Authority as well, I can layer with them to get a total of $50,000. We layer funds all day, every day. This is something that we do. So we're very well versed in it, have great relationships with Invest Atlanta and Atlanta Housing Authority. I just received word that they may be extending the initiative to July. So if anyone is under contract, right now it's June, but it looks like they're extending it until July. It's an unofficial extension, okay? So if you go under contract in July, then you can receive that additional funding. So that's a ton of money. So it's buying down principal, it's paying closing costs. So absolutely a great way. And also what I've noticed is the market is starting to change a little bit. My
It
folks
is.
are getting some contracts accepted with down payment
Yes.
assistance. I'm loving it. Loving it.
Are we excited that contracts are being accepted again? Oh my God.
Absolutely, absolutely. So don't be afraid of these rates. I've seen this before. Like I said, I've been in the business since '98. When I first started, rates were in the 8s, and that was normal, and people were buying.
I've
right?
heard,
Because-
and that's this I have heard.
yeah,
Yes,
owning homes never goes out of style. It's always a good time. to own a house,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So I just mentioned the city of Atlanta, but I am a top producer as well for the state of Georgia. So they have Georgia Dream. So if you're outside of the city of Atlanta, we can do Georgia Dream as well. There's a program in Gwinnett County called Gwinnett Homestretch that we can assist with as well. So there's some options. We also have an in-house program. And it doesn't matter where you live or how much you make. You're a first-time home buyer, as long as you don't own any other property, we can also assist with a loan to help you with your down payment as well.
Wow, that's amazing.
Mhm.
And I asked a question, Keisha.
Mhm.
In
Sure.
reference to these different programs, what is the time frame that's needed if someone, is going to use one of these programs and they go under contract? I know before it used to be an extended period of time. We would need to be able to close, someone that has, that's getting one of these type of benefits. So what's the time frame for that right now?
So because we were finding ourselves in multiple offer positions a lot, we had to get a little bit more creative with how we could close them faster. And the providers know this as well. So they definitely help us to get the loans through the system so we can get them closed timely. So typically it would take about 45 days. But what we found during this era was, let's go ahead and get you underwritten up front.
Right.
That way, we at least have one underwrite out the way. And all we're waiting on is an appraisal and title, right? And so before we can submit it to the other entities. So in many cases, we can rush the appraisal, maybe get it back in about 6 to 7 days. So we are cutting time there. So we rush the appraisal because remember, you're getting assistance. So you may have enough to, depending on where we're getting the funds from, you'll have enough to cover the rush fee for the appraisal.
Right.
We get that faster, right? So now we can actually get the file to the down payment assistance provider usually within 8 days. So that's going to cut out some time there that we would have been just waiting for underwrite, waiting for the appraisal to come back in a normal period of time. So we do that now so we can streamline that time from about 45 days to about 30 days. As long as we have the cooperation from the buyer and getting the documents to us, because I will be upfront and honest. We want the money, we need the documents.
Right.
So it's a lot more involved when you're getting down payment assistance, right? So if I ask you for your kidney, your eyeball, your toenail, I just need you to give it up, okay?
Ready to give it, right.
That's a joke. But
No, it's not.
I just want to make sure, I know, right? I just want to pre-warn you.
Right.
We are going to request for a lot of documents because we have to give it to multiple agencies, but we're asking for that so we can go ahead and get everything satisfied so we can move you along. So as long as we have the cooperation by the buyer, we try to get them underwritten up front so we can go ahead and move them through that process faster. And then also when you make an offer, I can speak to the agent and say, yep, we're qualified. We're not even qualified. We're approved.
Right.
Been through underwriting. We look good. We're just waiting on appraisal and title so we can shoot it over to down payment assistance. So that has definitely worked. We definitely close loans. And during this time, most of my business is down payment assistance, and we've done well with it. So it's still viable.
So with these programs, as we talked about time frame, but what else would a buyer do, if anything, differently than if they were just going through, just purchasing a home without one of the programs?
Well, they definitely would have to take a home buyer education class. I recommend that for any first-time home buyer, whether they're getting assistance or not, because there's some things that they just don't know and they don't know to ask to know, right? So I definitely recommend them going to a HUD-approved housing counseling agency, because to get the money, you would need to have gone through that process. And then depending on what program you're going through, they may have their own other programs that they may ask you to go through as well. So for example, Invest Atlanta has a Q&A session that they want you to go to in addition to home buyer education. But I would say that's one of the things that you would have to do is that home buyer education program. And then also, we're going to need a little bit more documentation than if you were just doing a regular loan. So just mentally be prepared for that, because, we're going to need that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
So
Now,
go ahead.
I was about to ask, what are the qualifications for these type of programs?
That was the same
You thinking
question. I was
that-
gonna
That was my next question, but I figured I'd let someone else ask.
Great minds think
Right.
alike.
'Cause I'm over here taking notes. I don't know about you ladies.
Right, I am
I
too.
am always open to do sessions in office. Okay.
Oh,
Um,
listen, we definitely want one. Yes.
All right. Well, let me know. I'll be there. So it depends on the program. Each program has their own criteria. So that's why you definitely want to work with a specialist when working with down payment assistance. If you
Mhm.
don't do it often, you're not well versed on the guidelines, the nuances between program to program. So you just want to make sure that the person, the loan officer you're working with, understands those programs. And especially if you're talking about layering them. So most programs first are based on geographic location. So where are you purchasing the property? That's number one. So that's going to let me know where I need to look for assistance.
Mhm.
Next thing is credit score. The minimum threshold for most programs are 640, but there are some opportunities where as long as I can get the loan approved, then I may be able to get you some assistance depending on where the location is. The third would be income.
Mhm.
So there may be some income limits, not minimums, but limits. So you can't exceed an income threshold, and that varies depending on product as well. So again, that's why you definitely want to work with a specialist, somebody who really does down payment assistance often and stays abreast of the programs. But those are the main three factors we look for when we're qualifying you for down payment assistance.
Yes. And I love what you're saying, even with, because I don't know, when I first came into the business, and I would sometimes speak to a lender and someone would say they've been approved for a Georgia Dream. And then, there were lenders who would say, oh, you mean Georgia Nightmare, and it's like, really? Like, what was the bias against, Georgia Dream? And I'm listening to you speak now. And I actually, one of my my fourth grade best friend, she bought her house with Georgia Dream. And she said the process was excellent.
It is.
So I think there are a lot of the programs, people are not even aware, or they've heard negative things about them. So they don't even attempt to, or they don't inquire because they think that, first of all, they probably won't qualify, or they think it's so much more in depth, which it is. But I think, as you're saying, it's important that everyone, first-time home buyers, should take a home buying education course. I think that should be a must, right?
Absolutely.
So, because as last week we were talking about, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So it would be very helpful and beneficial.
Right. And what I found out with down payment assistance, and it goes to the lender as well as the real estate agent and as well as the educational provider, is manage expectations. And so that's why I say up front, this is a process. We're going to ask you for a lot of documentation, but this is the reason why. It's because I don't want anyone to get weary and tired in the process. Because you have to provide 3 years tax returns instead of none if you weren't getting the assistance. So we do need more documentations, but I definitely my team tries to manage the expectations. We're here to help you, support you. We're fighting in here with you. We're going to get you this money, so very important. But many successful homeowners receive the funds and very happy with it. It's amazing opportunity. Definitely.
Absolutely. Stephanie, you have a question?
So I do. With these programs, is there one, I think I know the question, but is there one that most first-time home buyers are better off going with, or are they all just equal and based on income or location?
Yeah, so it's not that one is better over the other one. It's more what fits your needs. And then where you want to live. So I always start with that. Where would you like to live? There are some people that say $50,000 is great, but it doesn't make sense for me to live in the city of Atlanta because my job is in Henry County and my kids are in school there, right? So the city of Atlanta wouldn't benefit them at all, how they feel. So I try to work with what their goals are. And I give them that as an opportunity, so because I want them to have all the options to make the best decision for themselves. But what I typically do is say, you qualify for Georgia Dream, you qualify for Invest Atlanta, you qualify for D.I.V.E. Sometimes I send out worksheets for all of them so they can look at it and see what fits their needs the best. And then when you're looking, right, if they say, well, I can do City of Atlanta, but I can also do Henry County, but I can also do Clayton County. So if you have all those pre-approvals, then you feel more comfortable with shopping in all of those areas and you have the numbers. So, if I go to Clayton County and I purchase this price, then I may have to bring this to the table. Right. If I go to the City of Atlanta, I know I've improved, I know I get more money, so I only have to bring this to the table. But at least they have all the options in front of them so they can make the best decision that's going to fit their lifestyle and their needs.
So another question, I'm out of Gwinnett County, and all lenders don't do all programs, correct?
That's correct.
So if I was to send them to you, would you be able to look into the different counties and see what, like, just because I work in, somebody wants to live in Gwinnett County, somebody might want to live in Winder.
Sure.
Different areas. Can you see all of that, or are you able to do all of that?
So typically you have to be approved as a lender from the provider to do their assistance.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes.
So we are approved for what we're approved for, right? So I have at my disposal Georgia Dream, which is statewide.
Okay.
So wherever you live in Georgia, we can do. Now, if they say to me, well, Keisha, I want to live in Winder or this county has a program. Are you familiar with it or can you get it? And so what I do is I reach out to see what the guidelines are, to see what the approval process is, to see if that's something we can add to our arsenal. So I can give that to the borrower. Sometimes it's, we can do it in time. Sometimes, we can't, just depending on the process that the assistance provider is given.
Okay.
But with Georgia Dream, it covers the state. So a lot of times I can use Georgia Dream if they qualify for credit in their income.
Okay.
I know we're mentioning Georgia Dream a lot. Georgia Dream is restricted to individuals who are like first responders.
No, it's anyone in Georgia, as long as you meet the credit income criteria and you're a first-time home buyer. So Georgia Dream uses the true definition of first-time home buyer, meaning you cannot owned a property within the last 3 years. So as long as you meet those 3 criteria, you can receive the funds. Now, if you are a healthcare worker, public safety, educator, then you get additional funding. So everyone else will get $7,500, but those occupations can get $10,000. They can receive $10,000.
Okay.
Now, Georgia Dream has a second mortgage. Is that correct?
It's a lien. So it's a soft second, right?
Okay.
So it's recorded as a lien.
Yeah. Can you kind of expound on that a little bit? Because I think that's something a lot of people don't understand.
Right. And it's with most down payment assistance programs, not exclusive to Georgia Dream.
Okay.
So they usually are given to you in a soft second, which means there's no payment associated with it. There's no interest rate associated with it. It's only in lien. So each program has designated guidelines that say, as long as you occupy the property or live in the property for X amount of time, after that time, then that soft lien is forgiven. So it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, or it could be a lifetime. Grants are the only program where you get the money. When you close, you owe no one. So Invest Atlanta has a grant, D.I.V.E has a grant, and D.I.V.E has a grant. But most other programs are typically soft second liens.
Okay. I like that, soft second liens. I've never heard it put that way. I love that. Okay.
So I'm sorry.
You
What if, so say you have one of them soft seconds and it's a 10-year and you sell the house in 9 years?
Okay. Depends on who the funding is coming from. So there are some programs that say every year you stay in this house, a percentage is forgiven. Then there are some programs that say you could be there 9 years and 11 months and sell. You may have to pay all the money back if it's not 10. So it depends on what program you're going with, because each one has their own guidelines. And there are some programs recently that said when there wasn't a plethora of equity, a lot of them were just saying, well, when you sell, don't worry about it. We'll just write it off. So that was happening for a while. So, but there's a plethora of equity now. So I don't, I'm not sure if they're really, if they're still doing that. But like I said, it just depends on which program you go. They each have their own criteria but most of them do have a retention period where they would like for you to stay in the house for a certain period of time.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay. I'm gonna shift gears a little bit, Keisha.
All right.
Because I know we have individuals who may be listening and they are like, listen, I owned a house previously, or I'm in the process of selling the current house that I have, meaning therefore I no longer meet the criteria to be considered a first-time home buyer, right? So with that being said, if someone is going to purchase a home now, no longer qualified as a first-time home buyer, are there any programs that they may qualify for?
So Prosperity Home Mortgage, we have a home advantage program where it's an FHA loan. There's no income restrictions. As long as you don't currently own a house, then you can buy. And so you can get 3.5% down payment on that property. I've had somebody that I closed on a over $400,000 house. They made $160,000 a year and received the down payment assistance on the FHA loan.
Okay. So
Yes, ma'am, Stephanie.
Stephanie,
If you could see Stephanie's face
the
right
whole
now.
like,
If you can see Stephanie's face.
but Stephanie's looks like she went like what?
Absolutely.
This is why we need because
right,
listen,
because
we're in the business and we're still going, wait, what?
Yeah. And here's another thing. Invest Atlanta also is one of those down payment assistance. Their definition of first time home buyer is different. So as long as you don't currently own a home, you can use their programs as long as you meet their credit and income limits. So if you meet that criteria, you could have sold a house the day before and close on yours the next day. As long as you don't exceed their asset cap, you can definitely move forward.
Okay.
So sell that house today.
So not all programs are created, but we want to pre-qualify you first. Let you know what you can do.
Right.
Make sure programs are available to you, and then we can kind of help structure and guide you to making the right decisions to do the right things, so that way you can move to the next step. But yes, Invest Atlanta doesn't have that. So that's why you need somebody who knows these programs and understands those details and nuances, because it's not a one size fit all for all the programs.
Right. I'm appreciative of this information. This is
so
a game
am I.
changer.
I'm like,
This is a game changer. I mean, even for us as realtors, this is a game changer, because now we have additional tools in our bag of tricks to help assist our clients.
Absolutely.
This could be the decision making factor of someone who is on the cusp of trying to decide what they want to do.
Absolutely.
So, especially for those who may be in the position to currently sell,
right?
But they were like, well, where am I going to go? Or what I have to use all of my profits from the sale to go toward the new house. They may qualify for some of these things because they too thought you had to be a first-time home buyer to get these.
Not with all the programs, you don't. The definitions are different for the programs.
What's exciting to me is that definitely Keisha knows that she is going to be somewhere in person with us sharing this.
Oh,
We are definitely putting on some
Ooh.
seminars. I'm telling you, because
I would
this
love
is,
to.
this is information that, as you said, the underserved, they don't get. This is what people need to hear,
Mhm.
right? Because most of us walk around saying, okay, I got to have this amount of money,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
you only see the things that are you need this
The
amount of money to
mainstream.
down pay, you have to have this kind of credit score, you have to have done this, you have to, all these boxes checked. And most people get to box number 2 and it's like the check stop.
Right.
Right. And not realizing that there are still opportunities. And this is what we want to do, is to be able to help
Mhm.
people find this information and be able to buy their home,
Right.
whether it's the first home or the second, third home after you
Forever
sold that
home,
house
right.
the day before.
But-
So
Yeah, but
I
the
mean,
first home is where it all starts, right? And
absolutely.
so you can't go to the second and
Absolutely.
third until you get to that first one. And so
Absolutely.
if there's some, hey, I'm all about get the money. If I can help you find some money, that's what we're gonna go
Yes.
for. It's out there. Why not? Why not use it?
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
so, yeah, there's, a huge disparity. If this is going to help bridge that gap, that's what I'm here for. That's what our team is
Definitely.
designed and constructed to do, is do our part in bringing that, bringing that gap down some. So yes, I'll be happy to do.
Yeah, we definitely are going to bridge some gaps here. I love all the information you've shared with us. I think, let's see, and then we actually, some of the questions we already kind of talked about.
So I have a question.
Okay, yep.
And
I think
the Atlanta programs, are they all? Sometimes as even an agent, I do work mainly in Gwinnett County. So are the programs zip code, or are they revitalization programs, or are they just programs for anywhere in Atlanta?
So it depends on the program.
Okay.
Okay. So Georgia Dream is statewide. So it's for anyone in the state.
Mhm.
So it's not a zip code, it's not based on your zip code.
Mhm.
There's D.I.V.E, that's for anybody in DeKalb County that meets the guideline. There's Cobb, that's for anybody buying in Cobb County.
Wow.
Gwinnett Homestretch, anybody that can qualify for that program, that's in Gwinnett. So even in the city of Atlanta, that doesn't go by zip code. They actually have a system. Basically, if the property pays city of Atlanta taxes, then you can qualify. So they're not even based on zip code. So when you're searching, you want to make sure it's a property that pays city of Atlanta taxes.
Okay.
So so each one of them has their own nuances, but I wouldn't go by zip code. They're mostly by the county or the city, that they're located in.
Mhm.
So no, I didn't hear you say no, there's no we Fulton, huh?
No,
Or no, we Fayette.
no, we Fayette. Only Georgia Dream. I know.
Only Georgia Dream, but that's all right.
But people use it.
We are here to dream.
time.
We are here to dream and help you reach the dream of being a homeowner. So,
absolutely. And I even do rural areas. I mean, I just closed one that was, I'm trying to remember where it was. It was like past Albany somewhere. So I do rural as well on Georgia Dream. And that's an underserved market, ladies.
absolutely.
Rural, working with educators, getting that $10,000 down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stephanie has her finger up.
Tiptoe out. No. So with these loan programs, most of them are FHA.
Georgia Dream is FHA. Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
Okay,
the rural, can they be USDA layered?
They do have a component that you can do USDA, but there are some limits to that. They're a little bit different from FHA. But yeah, they do, it is permissible. Conventional though, you'd have to put 20% down in order to do it with Georgia Dream. So if you had 20%, you probably wouldn't need Georgia Dream.
You don't need it.
Right.
And I might add that I like Georgia Dream in this climate because the rates are lower than market rates on these programs.
Key factor. Key factor.
Wait a minute now. Let's rewind.
Let's unpack that.
Rates are lower with the Georgia Dream. Therefore, someone who's not using Georgia Dream, who's getting just a regular interest rate,
would be higher.
would more than likely have a higher. So you're telling me I'm not only getting some money,
Mhm.
I'm actually going to save some money too because my rate is going to be lower.
Yes.
Sign me
I
up.
had an individual who qualified for Georgia Dream,
Mhm.
and then they had to re-pull her credit and her score dropped below the minimum threshold. So she couldn't qualify for Georgia Dream. So her rate on Georgia Dream was 5%. But when we re-pulled her credit, it only dropped by 4 points, but it was below their threshold for the amount of house that she was buying. Her rate jumped up to 6%.
See?
Opposed to the 5% she was getting with Georgia Dream. We were still able to get her done,
Right.
get her qualified.
But she's gonna end up paying more monthly,
Mhm.
and she doesn't get that assistance
Right,
toward closing.
right.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. So
Mhm,
yeah,
It does. Yeah.
I didn't know that the interest rate was a factor.
Yes.
I thought it was just the money.
No.
Right.
Mm-mm. There are certain programs like Invest Atlanta has a couple, and then Georgia Dream, where they actually give the rates for the program as well as the assistance.
Okay.
So everybody gets the same rate.
Mhm.
So you could have an 800 or a 640 with Georgia
At the same
Dream, and
rate.
you would get their same rate.
Oh, that's excellent.
Okay.
Look at
so
that. I love it.
These
We're
are
learning
down
so
payment
much
assistance.
about, because like I said, Georgia Dream, people just would kind of be like, oh, no.
No, it's a great, and the
look
underwriting
how-
time is not bad. I usually
Right,
get,
and look how amazing it is.
yeah,
Right.
we do a lot with them, and we have a great relationship with the underwriters. That's key, to have relationships with them. So my
Mhm.
processor and my assistant, very familiar. They talk all the time through loans and all of that. They usually review our files within 48 hours, usually 24.
Right. Are there some trainings that we could also take as realtors with regards to Georgia Dream, and just so we are a little more well versed to
I'm
know
not
it?
sure if Georgia Dream, I mean, I can definitely give a training. I'm not sure if Georgia Dream opens it up to agents. But lenders have to go through a process.
Okay.
I don't think they have one for agents, but I can definitely walk you through, the process, the timeline, all of that kind of stuff for it. Now, Invest Atlanta encourages agents to join their Q&A session so they can also hear the information and understand it. It's not the same training we have to do, because we also have to go through training with Invest Atlanta. So you wouldn't go through our training, but they certainly encourage agents to be on the Q&A calls as well, so they can understand the process.
Right.
So
Well,
I have another
it's great collaboration, because
Absolutely.
this is what we need, right? The more education you have, the more tools you have in your box, the better we are enabled to serve our clients and, help everybody get to home ownership.
definitely.
Hey, absolutely. That's the
I love
goal.
that.
That's the end game.
Definitely.
That is definitely the end game. Stephanie, you
I
have a question?
have another question.
Oh, go ahead, Loves.
Can these programs be used with new construction?
Yes. And I actually went a lot of deals that way, because their lenders, their preferred lenders, don't have access to the programs. And so I actually get a lot. Actually, I won a couple in the city of Atlanta, and they're not actually sending people like, go call this person because she can do the program and help you get some money. And I'm not even a preferred lender.
It makes more sense.
Absolutely.
I just had my last couple closings have been new construction, and most of those buyers opted to go with the preferred lender based off of the incentives. Of course,
Right.
you're getting a house full of blinds, you're getting your garage door opener along with money toward closing.
Right.
But
Right.
now you're talking,
And so
I may
what
have
our
a better
agents were,
interest rate and money toward my closing.
Absolutely.
right. And so what the agent negotiating this one is, hey, your preferred lender doesn't have this. So she needs to get the incentives
Yes.
and go with it. And they agree, they agree to it because their lenders didn't have access to the programs. So
that's the question that I have.
I love
These
that.
programs are down payment assistance. They are not down payment and closing cost assistance. So
they can
buyers,
be. They can be.
Okay.
So you get an allotted amount of money. And so it depends. So like, for example, say you're an educator with Georgia Dream, you get $10,000. It depends on your price point. You're going to laugh at me when I say this, but say if the person finds a house for $200,000, that's why I said you were going to laugh. So if you have
Please
a
tell us
person,
where those homes are.
Right.
so I know. So if $200,000, that down payment is going to be less than 10,000.
Mhm.
So whatever's left over can go toward closing costs.
Okay.
So it just depends on the price point. Now, obviously, if they're buying at 300,000, it's not enough to cover,
All of it.
so
Right.
they get a flat amount of money. So with Georgia Dream, they're still gonna have to bring, typically gonna have to bring at least closing costs to the table, but hey, they won't have the down payment. So, and I get a lot of those calls too. I have some money, I just don't have all of it.
Right.
So
Mhm.
can you help me with some assistance? I get those calls all the time. Under contract, they said I need 20. And so when I'm done with them, they may only need like 7, which they have. They just don't have,
Absolutely.
all the other stuff.
Okay. With these programs, is it a minimum amount of money that the buyer has to bring to the table?
Yes. And that differs on the program as well. So some programs might be 1,500, some might be 1,000, but that's usually it, 1,500 or 1,000.
Okay.
But earnest money is more than that these
Of course.
days,
Right.
right?
Yep, absolutely.
So that usually covers what they have to bring.
That's the appraisal fee.
Now, I'm a little different. I know most of our loan officers make them pay that up front, but if they get assistance, I roll that in.
Okay,
Because if it can be covered,
let it get covered.
I'm gonna try to get it covered.
Okay.
See you, girl.
You've been
That
dropping.
really does make a difference.
It
I mean,
does.
appraisal, now inspection would not be, well, if
No.
it's new construction, it wouldn't need to be, but
Even
But
on an
inspection-
existing, yeah,
Yeah.
the inspection is not covered. The
Okay.
home inspection is not covered.
okay, good to know.
This, like I said, I mean, the information that you have provided today could literally,
It's a game changer.
give that person the push to go ahead and take that jump.
Mhm.
They were just waiting on, some miraculous amount of money to just appear.
The windfall.
The check,
The windfall.
the check just appear in the mail, or, they were just waiting because they thought they needed this substantial amount of money
Mhm.
Yes.
before being able to buy a house. Like, they've done the work and have credit where it needs to be.
Right.
But they were looking because they have been talking to the street committee. and
Of
the street
course.
committee
Yes,
has told them, you need to
Yes.
have $60,000 saved
absolutely.
before you buy a house.
Right.
And I mean, of course, we know that that's extreme, but in this case, hey, you might can just have 5,000 and these programs can be able to,
Right.
provide you with the remainder.
Right. In the days where sellers were paying closing costs,
Yes,
I had buyers that only came to close, only had to pay earnest money,
yes.
So
I don't know if we're ever gonna
Could
see
you
those
walk
days
away with
again.
money?
know. You can't.
You can't walk away with money though. So
Mm-mm.
if the money is not being utilized.
So if there's extra money, what I usually direct the closer to do is put it on principal reduction.
Mm,
Wow.
Or if they have an HOA, I'll say pay their HOA for a year or 6 months or something like that.
Okay, so we're not leaving no money on the table.
I don't leave money on table.
Okay.
They give me all.
No, she said we're gonna get the money
We're
and
gonna
then we're
use
gonna
it.
allocate it appropriately to
Absolutely.
anything that it can.
Absolutely. We're using every
cover.
drop.
We're using
Absolutely.
It's gonna benefit them, yes.
I
I
like that.
I love that. Okay.
Love that. Love it.
Okay.
And look at, can you imagine, can you think in your mind right now, can you think back to the number of clients that you could have helped?
I got clients I gotta call now.
I'm looking at my board like, check, check.
Girl. I know
You're
you
like
wanted to
1-800 Georgia
I know you
Dream
wanted to
now.
live together, but I think you might need to come to the city and try to get this 50,000.
Yes. Yes. That,
I can see how this is going to be so beneficial to so many people.
yes.
Now, we know that it's not just a first-time home buyer situation. Anybody could pretty much qualify for something. They may fall, in under one of these categories.
Mhm.
Can any of these be used for investment properties?
No,
Okay.
yep, just for primary residences.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a mind blower.
Come on.
W9 versus W2.
Ooh.
So we can do self-employed.
Okay.
Mhm.
I do self-employed borrowers all the time. I have to have some sort of proof of income
Mhm.
to be able to get through to be able to get.
So that's what those 3 years of tax returns would come.
Right,
come
yep.
in.
And I have to analyze those tax returns. So I
Absolutely.
can't do like bank statements. I can't do anything like that. So
Not-
I can do like 1099. I can
Mhm.
do contract, as long as they file taxes and they didn't write off everything. I can
Absolutely.
definitely do that. And I actually help people structure their tax returns a lot too. To say, you know, this is what we can do
Okay.
to help. Yeah.
That was a great question, Stephanie.
I know I was thinking for myself, so.
I was like,
We can
I
do
need
it
that-
as long
it's
as we
like-
have his tax returns right.
I need that 50,000. Hold on, let me roll it.
Right, I'm trying to move to Atlanta right now, so it's like, let's do this.
If you hadn't filed your taxes, there may be a chance.
Like you said, as long as you haven't, what do you say, written off everything.
Yes.
Look, when she
Yes.
said that, that's when I went,
Mhm.
Yeah.
The one thing that contract workers, independent, self-employed individuals need to know, that you cannot buy major items, i.e. a home, and tell the lender, this is all I made.
Mhm.
I've been in business for 20 years, but this is all I've made.
Yeah.
And there's like, well, I really do have the money.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I get all the time too. But
Right.
I make
I
the
have
money.
it.
I know.
Yeah. Mhm. But there's no paper trail to it, honey.
Yeah,
Cash
you
is
wrote
not
it
king
all
in this
off.
situation.
Yeah.
That is a vital piece of information that self-employed individuals, contract workers always need to hear. And it's unfortunately, they don't hear it until they're on the other side of that table, ready to buy the, speaking to one of us, ready to buy, and then find out that they cannot qualify because they do have the money, but they don't have the history. They don't have the
didn't prove
Right.
income.
They don't have
based
it
on-
recorded. Yeah.
Right, recorded income based on what they have reported on their taxes. So
Right.
that's very,
Right.
very important.
Right.
So-
Absolutely.
Well, Keisha, I have a question, and I think this would be a good, coming on home question.
Okay.
We have people listening. They're interested in all of these programs. They are now ready, able, and willing to buy their first home or a home. What documents should they go ahead and prepare before speaking with you, so they can already have an idea of what they need to get there?
Okay, sure. If they know they're wanting to seek down payment assistance,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll need 3-year tax returns.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I'll need 2 months bank statement. I'm sorry, 2 months bank statements,
Mm-hmm.
2 months, 2 years W-2s. And then I'll need 30 days pay stubs.
Okay.
And that will help me get them, know what I need to know about them to pre-approve them.
Get them started.
And so our process with my team is, you make application, I review the file. Once I receive it, then I immediately send an email out with a list of documents that I'm gonna need based on what I see in their profile. And then when they get all that back, then I'll call them and say, okay, these are what your options. Because we all know that sometimes what they put in the system doesn't match up with their documents, right?
Mhm.
So I never send pre-approvals out based on what they put in the system or what they
Mhm.
told me, because everybody can end up upset at the end of the day. So
Yes.
I like to vet the documents first and go through everything, make sure they didn't write anything off on their taxes, or that their income matches up, that they calculated it correctly, all of that kind of stuff. Then I'll call them so I can say, okay, this is what I'm able to do to see, what would you like to do? What's your goal? That kind of thing. And then I can, kind of massage it based on where they are to see if I can, help them get to where they need to be.
Great.
Awesome. Great. Keisha, you have been amazing. You have just
Thank you,
listen,
ladies.
you
I
have-
appreciate
you
the
have-
invite.
you have filled our bags with like we're walking away like loaded down with all this information. But of course, we will definitely be in contact with you, because you can deliver it the way you have done it today
Thank
to
you.
those potential buyers that need this information. So we thank you so much for joining us
My
today.
pleasure.
We really
Thank you,
appreciate
ladies, so
you.
much. And I think it's wonderful you're doing this. So thank you so much.
Thank
Much
you.
needed.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Thank you.
So any final words that you'd like to share with us?
I would just like to say, don't be discouraged by what you see. You know, I was always brought up in saying, don't be moved by what you see. You just got to trust and believe, right?
Yes.
And I know you see that rates are increasing. I know you may, or you may have had a hard time previously in this market because you made multiple offers and didn't get anything. There's an old saying, say, this too shall pass, right?
Right.
So it looks like something is passing. So
Yeah.
don't give up. Stay in there. If you want this house, if you take those proper steps, we can definitely get you there in that house. But don't be moved by the rates. Don't be deterred. Don't be scared of it. You know, because you have to have somewhere to live. Why pay for somebody else? Pay for yourself. Make money for yourself. Invest in yourself.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We will pass the plate now. Minister Keisha. You
All
just
hearts and minds are clear.
all hearts and minds are clear. We thank you so much. Oh man, we cannot thank you enough. Just
Thank you.
amazing, dynamic information. And we will definitely share this, and I'm sure you will be getting some calls, because once our listeners tune in, they're like, how can I talk to her? How can I get in touch with her? And so also, Keisha, if you would like, you can share your information, but we will also place it to share your, how individual will be able to get in contact with you once they
Sure.
listen.
Absolutely. Thank you. You can call or text me at 404-904-2170. And then I tell people all this time, you can just Google Keisha Harris with Prosperity and I pop up. So you'll find my website, because I don't want to give you this long web address. So you can just type in Keisha Harris with Prosperity and it'll come up. And you can look at my reviews. You can see the programs and all of that stuff there. You can even apply directly from the website as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we
Thank
want to say
you.
thank you all so much for tuning in with us. Stephanie, Jessica, thank you all so much. This has been a wonderful, wonderful session. And we look forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Have a great week.